So are you looking to upgrade your pistol sights? Then check out this review video we have coming at you right now. Brian Kirby here with Take Aim TV. In this episode, we're reviewing the XS Minimalist Tritium Night Sights for the Glock 48. We're actually going to be doing a full installation video on these sights. So if you just bought these sights and you're looking to do the install, we're going to have a step-by-step guide for you. We'll have a link below in the description. The front sight post on these sights is the same size as your standard Glock sight post. Now there's a simple formula. The larger your front sight post is, the faster you can acquire a clean sight picture and get a shot on target. But you have a little less pinpoint accuracy when you have a large front sight post. Now the opposite of that is if you have a smaller front sight post, it takes a little bit longer to acquire a sight picture, but you are getting a little more accuracy with that. Don't get me wrong though, people can be extremely accurate with larger front sight posts. It just takes practice and knowing how those sights work and how the sight picture is supposed to look at longer yardages. It all depends on what your goal is with this gun. If this is your self-defense gun, you may want a larger sight post so you can get that flashlight picture and get a shot on the threat as soon as possible. This sight has a Tritium Insert, so it will light up in the dark with 0 to no light. It also has a photoluminescent orange circle on it, which will glow from natural light. It charges from that. That is a neat feature. Unfortunately though, that gun spends most of its time in a holster or in my stop box or something like that. It doesn't always see light, so it doesn't always charge. I have noticed it if we're at the range for a while, it will get a natural charge going, but not so much just from like normal wear, especially if it's spending most of the time in my dark holster. But the Tritium is always very visible, even in no light whatsoever. I can see that over anything else if it's pitch black. So for those of you who aren't sure if you want a larger front sight post or a smaller one or the exact same size as a standard Glock sight, I think this is a perfect middle ground. The sight post is highly visible. I had no issue acquiring a clean sight picture with these sights. Moving to the rear sight post, it is completely blacked out. There's no Tritium inserts. It's actually angled backwards and it's serrated, so it kind of casts a shadow onto itself. So even on a really bright day, that rear sight post is black. Which is great for me personally. I don't want a distraction back here. I don't need dots or anything like that. I want my eyes to go to that front sight post. So once I get my clear sight picture, I can press the trigger and get some shots on target. So to kind of test my abilities with these sights, I did the Walkback Drill, a variation of it at least, where we had a C-zone steel target on the range, and I started around 10 yards, and then I kept walking about 5 or so yards away from the target, and every time I'd have a ping, I'd go further away. It was about 30 yards I had my first miss. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the sights, it's just where I had my first miss. I'm by no means an expert marksman, but that's where I first had the wheel started to fall off a little bit. But I didn't really have a huge issue as compared to when I was using my big dot sights, which is a larger front sight post on my shield. Now the shield has a shorter barrel and a shorter sight radius, so that can affect things there. But I do feel like comparing the big dots to this, these sights, the minimalist ones, were a lot easier at longer ranges. The rear sights are completely flat on the front end, which makes this a nice feature if you're looking to be able to rack your slide by using that sight. You can easily do it off your belt, your boots, the bad guy's teeth, whatever you need to do to get your gun back into a fight, especially if you're only having one-handed manipulation where you can't use both hands to do something like a magazine change or if you have a malfunction. This is a technique I highly recommend you learn from a qualified professional instructor, somebody who could teach you how to do this safely, so you don't, do something the wrong way and, have a negligent discharge. There is countless ways to do this.
When I have to access my pistol, right, with one hand, okay, I need to be able to clear that garment, get the gun out, and deliver accurate shot. The slide lock here, a couple of different considerations. First, I need to use gravity to get that magazine out of the gun, and now, if I can get my gun back into the holster here, or you can see that took a little bit of time. Another option there might be to drop to a knee, stuck that pistol behind my leg there, go ahead and get the magazine into the gun, work the pistol, and we're good.
So these sights also feature a wide rear notch, which means you will have light on both sides of your sight posts when you have a proper sight picture. which adds the visibility and kind of makes it so you can just really know you're lined up perfectly. I like that feature. I like having that wider slot in the back. Once again, personal preference, you may not like that, but I like having the light showing on both sides, and it helped increase the visibility slightly. The blade width is 0.145 millimeters, and the rear notch width was 0.170 millimeters to give you an actual size comparison of the two. These are an extreme upgrade compared to the Glock's factory sights. The sights on Glocks are junk. They're plastic. They will probably break if you are doing hardcore training or in some heavy situations with that gun. As some guys say, I can hit everything with my Glock sights. I'm not saying Glock sights aren't accurate. They work. It's, you know, it's a standard sight system. But there's things on Glock sights, like the stupid gold post on the rear sight post. I think it's so stupid. I just think that's, once again, a distraction from the front sight. These are way more heavy duty than those sights. These are made of metal. They're not cheap plastic like on the Glock sights. So if you're looking to replace them, this is an affordable option for replacing those sights. These go for about $60, and for a pistol upgrade that will make a big difference, this is one I'd recommend. Usually sights, trigger, things like that are usually what people kind of go for upgrades. This is a nice option for that. This kit will include your front sight, your rear sight, and some red thread locker for the installation. The kit does not include the front sight tool that will be needed for installing the front sight on a Glock. You do not need a sight pusher to install these sights. I've installed sights in the past without them, and sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a little more harder, but I installed these ones using a sight pusher. It wasn't an overly expensive sight pusher, but it did the job enough that made the install process extremely easy. Would I recommend these sights? Yes, absolutely. They're heavy duty, very easy to acquire sight picture. I love the Tritium inserts. That means in no and low light, you get some form of a dot. And that is something that is crucial, especially for home defense and self-defense. A lot of those situations are going to happen in the dark, and it's nice to have a visible front sight post. They're very heavy duty, as I mentioned. They're not going to break. They're made in the USA, and it's an affordable upgrade. For more information on these sights, you can go to XS Sights website. They have a lot of other sights on there, so if these ones aren't for you, they have some other options you could check out. Just a full disclosure, they did send me the sights for this review video, but that does not affect what I say. This is not a paid-for review. This is not an advertisement for them. This is an independent review. As always, huge shout out to the Firing Pin in Bergen, New York. Thank you so much, Pat, for joining me on the range and helping me review these sights and showing us some techniques. So we are doing everything in the proper way. If you're looking for a cool place to shoot, check out their indoor range at the Firing Pin in Bergen, New York. So are you asking yourself, what's the best pistol out there? What ammo should you be shooting? What kind of firearm drills should you be doing? Then check out this helpful link below from USCCA that'll give you some peace of mind. Hey everybody, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Carbon TV and Instagram. Remember, stay aware, carry often, and I'll see you next time.